Welcome to Caregiver Relief Podcast, the show where we explore real world strategies, stories, and support for family caregivers and professionals caring for those with dementia. I'm Diane Carbo, RN, and founder of Caregiver Relief. Today, we're shining a light on one of the most overlooked yet powerful approaches in dementia care, the role of activities in fostering calm, dignity, and connection, especially in the later stages of the disease. So often we focus on medications for managing behaviors, but what if the real key lies in meaningful engagement? Our guest knows this firsthand, and I'm honored to welcome Sharon Daltry, co-founder and director of Timeless Presence, a UK-based social enterprise creating dementia-inclusive activities that help families and care teams reconnect with their loved ones. Inspired by her father's journey with Alzheimer's, Sharon has dedicated her work to developing tools that reach beyond memory loss and create those treasured moments of spark and recognition, even when language and cognition have faded. Timeless Presence thoughtful products are now stocked by the Alzheimer's Society, and a U.S. public service announcement featuring the brand will be launching soon, a testament to how impactful this work truly is. In our conversation today, we'll explore how the right kind of activity can reduce stress, prevent challenging behaviors, and restore connection, not just for the person living with dementia, but for the entire care team partner network. Because when we create opportunities for engagement, we witness the glimmer, that spark that reminds us the person is still there, still capable of joy, and still worthy of dignity. So let's dive in. Sharon, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to share this important information on timeless presence. Activities are one of the most overlooked approaches to care, yet it is one of the most important things family caregivers and professionals overlook. So welcome, and please tell me a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much for inviting us. I am a co-founder of Timeless Presence. My dad had Alzheimer's for 17 years. And over that period, we had him at each stage for a significant amount of time. I'm a communicator, he was a communicator, and we managed to stay connected until the very end stages. And like most people, I found myself floundering, I didn't know how to connect with him.
Exactly.
And it was painful. It was painful for me, and it was confusing and upsetting for him. And basically, because of the realization that we needed to interact with him differently in this stage, then we managed to maintain connection. And the things that we understood after he passed in 2019, and there was a period of grieving, obviously. But then when I looked for the products that I knew must exist by now, because we're talking, he was diagnosed 2002. We're talking a very long time ago.
Yeah.
And they just still weren't there. So my husband and I, we decided that we would share what we had learned in this situation by producing products that were inclusive for people with dementia.
So what makes dementia-inclusive activity different from something simply labeled dementia-friendly?
Right. Well, what we have done is we have designed our products from the ground up. So we did the research about not only dementia, but all of the other comorbid conditions, visual problems, cognitive problems, those kinds of things. And we have built and designed from the ground up to make sure that we are lowering the barrier to entry so that as many people as possible can interact with our products. It's designed for one purpose, and that's for activity in late-stage dementia.
Why do you think late stage dementia care, especially around engagement, is so often overlooked? And how can we start to change that?
Okay. There's a huge stigma still. I think there are various elements to this. There is stigma around dementia, and when they go into the later stages, they quite often become non-verbal, very hard to engage. That's when what they call behaviours can start to manifest themselves.
Absolutely.
But I also think, having been through the journey myself, there is, you decide, I've done a lot, I've already done so much, and there's a little bit of relief there that somehow somebody gave you permission to stop trying. And it's too easy to lean into that. I didn't, and my husband didn't. But I think, and the thing is, it's essentially we're flipping everything on its head. At this point, what you need to do is go, it doesn't matter if it's imaginary. It doesn't matter if they don't understand. It matters that they feel safe and supported. And it means to try and observe the world from their point of view.
I love that. And you know what? One of the things that you are offering us, as so many other caregivers that have been through their experience, is you're sharing what you've learned about your journey and created a solution to a problem. And nothing is more challenging than the late stage dementia behaviors. And it's so hard for so many for caregivers. They are expected to do so much and they have no idea. So that's why I'm really excited about letting the world know what you've created. It's just, we're benefiting from your caregiving journey, and I appreciate that and want to thank you for that, because you're going to make other people's life easier that are caring for someone at home. And I really like that.
Well,
So,
thank you.
Sharon, how can families or care partners use these tools or approaches without needing specialist training?
What we've done, I don't know what the situation is like in the US, but in the UK, the figure for carers actually working in care homes, 70% have received no dementia training
It's the
at all.
same here. It's the same here.
And I find this particularly shocking. So, what we have done is, apart from the design principles that we have included in our products, what we have done is we've come up with 5 hints and tips that come with every single product. So, anybody can pick up a product and they have got hints and tips attached to it that they will be able to use to start having a meaningful interaction with somebody who has dementia. So that's the idea. I broke it down to as few pointers as I possibly could. And the first one is to commit to participating, because this is not just product, this is product and this is ethos. It's, you have to commit to doing this and engaging and spending time with them so that they know that you're there for them.
Yes. One of the things I find when the family caregivers get to the late stages, they feel tired, they feel overwhelmed. And I love that you've already addressed they need to commit. And that's really hard for many of them. But I take a care team partner approach, and I encourage my clients to follow that approach where, if you have someone that can help you with other things so that you can enjoy time with your loved one while you're providing care, that's more important than getting the cleaning done, the laundry done, or whatever. Ask somebody to help you with those things, because you're losing your person slowly over time. And those moments of spark, that glimmer where you connect, are priceless. And I love when you've connected with your loved one, and you never know if it's going to happen again or not. But the commitment to creating these opportunities is what makes it special.
It's where it all starts.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. This is our time.
I love that. I really love that. So we know that activities can help prevent or reduce challenging behaviors, but can you share some examples how engagement has eased distress in advanced care settings?
Not specifically advanced care settings, but I can, because we have something called a curiosity box. People mistake it for a memory box, which it isn't.
Okay.
My dad had something similar, and it allowed us to be able to take him places. So I could, even very late on, I could take him for a cup of coffee to a coffee shop, and we would sit there. And then at the point he would want to go home, which was fairly early on, he would notice the box. He would investigate it. He would take everything out of it, see if everything went together. And then he would come back to the conversation. It would kind of reset him to, okay, I'm here and now there are people talking and, oh, I can join in a little bit with this conversation.
I love
It's,
that you
it's not,
take them out because socialization, people don't understand that is such a key to slowing the process of the disease and also giving the caregiver ability to be out and about for a while and enjoy their loved one as well.
absolutely. And it just came naturally to me to try and do it. And I was lucky enough to find a way to enable that. I just remembered actually, we visited a care home and there was a gentleman there who was introduced to our puzzle. And he's actually the one in the video. And the actual activities coordinator came up to us and said to her that he had said it was brilliant, but it was the first time he had spoken in 6 weeks.
Oh, that's powerful.
It
Wow.
is, because what we're doing is we're making things that they can interact with, that they want to interact with. We're designing them based on children's toys, puzzles, that kind of thing. However, they are all adapted to look dignified, adult.
That I love that you're doing it because one of the things that caregivers have a hard time with, or and some of the patients themselves, those suffering from dementia, don't want, they look like baby toys that they are insulted by that. Some of them, not many, but it does happen. And I like that you've made them so that, and that's probably why they relate so much too.
That was the plan, and it seems to work. It seems to be. I think also there is this reluctance because I think their self esteem as they go through the journey takes a battering. I really do. I think they are afraid to try.
Many of them lose their ability to be motivated to initiate something. And that starts early on in a lot of dementias, depending on the type. So when you get to the late stage, you're right, they've been beaten up in their minds. They're unsure, they're uncomfortable, and sometimes things aren't making sense to them. And I love that your products, like the Curiosity Box, has me very curious because I think that's an awesome tool.
Excellent.
Yeah. It has a tool because it keeps them busy. If you can get them to focus on something and use their hands and be in a safe environment, they're connecting. And that's really important, I think.
I think also what we have done with all of our products is to try and move away from a target, that there is a point to everything. It's being in the moment that is important. It's so even our puzzle pieces, they're all square. So it doesn't matter if they put them in wrong, they will still fit. And if they get the enjoyment and the empowerment out of it, then job done.
Exactly, exactly. I love that's a key principle of your products because they lack self-esteem and they become unsure and you're setting them up for success. And that's really important.
We believe that is really, really important, but it's a sea change for the whole community to think like that. And this is where we are.
It absolutely is a sea change because people don't realize or don't expect. One of the things they don't understand is a person with dementia has slowed processing, thinking, and they lack reasoning ability after a period of time. And they may not understand what you are saying to them, but they will understand how you are saying things to them, and they will feel your energy, whether it's frustration or joy or happiness. So I think that when you're doing a project and you're experiencing something, providing them with something that's simple, it gives them joy, and it also gives the caregiver joy.
It does. All of the memories that I have from that later stage are based around the activities that we did together. The joy, the laughter, the fun, and the time that I got to spend with him. I benefited as much as he did.
You know what? That is one of the most important things. That's what keeps caregivers going, is knowing that their interaction, their ability to provide care is working and they're doing a good job. And that's their reward, is having that connection with their loved one. And I think that's really important. So tell me, if a family caregiver listening today wanted to introduce more meaningful activities at home, what simple tips or first steps would you recommend?
I would obviously recommend our own products. We are a small social enterprise and we are available online. We have product in the United States at www.timelesspresence.net, and just try the hints and tips that we have. Just give you a simple way to enter their world and start understanding what it is that will help them to meet you where they are.
What are
So,
those steps that you, or the 5 tips that you give with every package? What are they?
okay, so commit to participating. So give them all of your attention. Make sure that you are engaging with them and make sure that you're watching them as well, so that you can observe their reactions to what's going on. The second one is to communicate on an adult level, offering praise and encouragement like you would an adult, because this is going to be difficult in some instances for people. But if they want to actually participate, then communicate with them on that adult level, because they are still adults and they're aware of that. So that's something that's really important. The third one is avoid questions that ask for a specific answer, like, do you remember?
Good. Good.
Because, and the trouble is that it's so hard to stop doing that. It's how we build all of our relationships, our whole lives. It's touch points of shared memories. And then when you stop being able to do that, you lack the language to do it. So what you have to do is you have to use the activity in front of you and say, do you like this picture? And you can start a conversation. And memories sometimes are actually available to people. They're just not theirs to command any longer. So what you can do is you're looking at things, you're talking about things in the moment, but you're not asking them to remember, because asking them to remember is setting them up to fail. You mentioned setting them up for success, but if you're not careful, you can set them up to fail.
Yes. Well, most people understand that somebody with dementia, they're losing their ability to look to the future, and they're losing their long-term memory. So they really, truly are living in the moment, especially in the late stages of dementia. And people don't understand that. So that's why I love your approach. I think that's really, and it's positive, and it's going to, I hope that it creates a sea change of how we approach our care of our loved ones with dementia in the mid and even later stages of dementia.
This is what we hope, sincerely. The fourth is, if possible, to let them lead, follow where they lead. Whatever that they're doing with the puzzle pieces or the curiosity box, it doesn't matter, because they are exhibiting inquisitiveness, because that doesn't seem to go. That those kinds of things. And the final thing is simply have fun. Have fun. Try and have fun in the moment.
I have to tell you, that it's probably one of the hardest things for caregivers to do, because they're so anxious and stressed out all the time, and they don't understand that their loved one with dementia is picking up on that. And if they would really focus on just enjoying the moment and having fun, truly fun, and relax, it could be so much better for them. And it really does eliminate
Yeah,
very challenging behaviors.
exactly. I think a lot of challenging behaviours, I'm doing air quotes here, I think they're misunderstood. This is a personal opinion, but you know, when they start looping stories or asking the same question again and again and again,
Yes.
it feels to me that what they're actually doing is they're finding themselves in a confused state. They don't know who you are, and they don't remember anything about before. And what they are doing is they're reaching out to you with a question or with a story that they can remember, something that is safe for them to tell you. And it doesn't matter that they told you 10 times a day. For them, it's the first time.
Yeah.
And I think because I've been there, because you go, oh, I've heard this 10 times today. And it's very hard to keep that out of your voice. But if you can show up and actually participate in that gift that they are giving you, they are reaching out from behind their confusion and trying to communicate. And I think that's misunderstood. And I think a lot of the behaviours are misunderstood, if you like.
You're very right about that. You're correct. And it's just, you have to look at the cues that your loved one's given you. Check to see if they're hungry, they're thirsty, they need to go potty, are they in pain, and approach them. I always tell my caregivers, because I've been a nurse for over 50 some years, and I've done care professionally and personally on family members, and I know about dementia, and I can tell you they are in the moment. And the other thing I want to mention to the caregivers out there, that make sure that the environment around you, turn the TV off, if you're going to put music on, put soft music on, nothing loud and boisterous, and make sure that the activity, you're focused on the activity, and make sure the environment around you is conducive to having good interaction with your loved one at the time. I think that's really important.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, part of the commitment.
Yes, yeah, exactly, exactly. Looking ahead, Sharon, what's your hope for how dementia care, especially activity-based engagement, evolves over the next 5 to 10 years? Because we have a silver tsunami coming.
Well, I'm part of it.
Yeah, so am I. So am I.
Dementia, we are not doing enough. In the UK and the US, obviously, things are better than they are in other parts of the world. And I really do want to see a change throughout the whole world, that we welcome these people, that they get ostracized. I don't even think that's too strong a word to use. They get ostracized from society, and that's not fair. It's so much of us, and you are hard pressed to find somebody whose life hasn't been touched by dementia in some way.
Exactly, exactly. And I will tell you that the family caregivers are also ostracized because they're afraid to take their loved one out for whatever reason, or it's too much work for them. And they have a very small world. Their world becomes very isolated socially and many other ways. There's limited interaction. And that's why I love your concept, because if we can promote that kind of concept, it's going to make life easier. And also, people will want to support this movement when they see how how good a person responds to this approach. And as somebody who's worked in behavioral health, when a person has dementia, it can be really hard when they're out of control with behaviors. And I hate that that they want to medicate. And it's oftentimes it's as simple as just the environment, that they may be bored, they're afraid, they're cold, they're wet, they may be in pain. But if you address all those issues, it's boredom. And they need something to still stimulate them. And that's what's really cool about what you're doing. I love that you set a patient up for success. And that's really important. And the caregivers too. It's a good interaction for them as well.
It absolutely is. My mindset changed one day. I was taking my dad in the car and we turned into a road and it was spring and all of the trees down the road were full of pink blossom.
Oh.
And he went, "Oh, look at all the flowers on the trees."
Oh.
And I got to experience that moment with him again. I get goosebumps every time I tell you about it.
Those are the moments we live for. They call it the long goodbye for a reason, because it's a cruel disease. We have moments where we do connect and we see that glimmer and spark in their eyes, and that's the person that you know. And then in a moment it goes and there's that blank stare again. So we are always hopeful that they're going to improve, they're going to get better, and because it gives us hope. And it's a disease that you can delay the progression with these types of activities. You can improve your interaction with these types of activities to decrease challenging negative behaviors. And I think that's really important.
I think I changed what I hoped for, in the sense that I hoped that I could make him happy when I was there, that we could connect, and that was enough. I stopped looking for more than that. I wanted to make him feel safe. I wanted to make him feel happy. And if I felt like I'd achieved that, then that was good.
I want to impress upon the caregivers out here listening, that's really important. You touched on a point that is very important. So continue with that thought, because I love that.
It's a strange thing. I almost say I had to give up on the idea of my dad being my dad in order to be able to continue to have wonderful time with him.
Interesting perspective, and I appreciate that.
I tried to take my needs out of the equation. I tried to understand what his world was like. And once you kind of do that, flip it on its head. If I was sitting somewhere and I was confused and I didn't know what was going on, and maybe I'd lash out, maybe I don't know what I'd do.
You're right. They're in an unfamiliar surrounding, or what they always talk about, they want to go home, even though they are home many times. It's I think sometimes they're talking about a feeling of comfort, of safety, of secure from as a child, if they or whatever. And I really like the fact that you've taken it off, take yourself out of the equation and be more conducive to thinking how your loved one may be feeling at the time. I think that's awesome. I think that's a really important tip that every caregiver with caring for somebody with dementia should consider.
Thank you. It feels like that there is a widespread misunderstanding that you slowly empty out as a person and that by the end you're gone. And that's not what happens. It's not linear like that.
You're right.
And you don't ever empty out fully. The last time I saw my dad before he passed, he waved me bye-bye and blew me a kiss. He didn't know who I was.
The fort.
But that was wonderful, that he again reached out to me from a place that I can only imagine. So yes, it's about understanding that they aren't gone. If they're quiet, it's because that they don't know what to say. They don't feel safe to say anything, and beaten.
Yes,
They're afraid to try anymore.
exactly.
That's what I think anyway. I'm sorry.
No. You know what? You are sharing from your personal experience, and that's really important for people to understand that you've had an amazing experience, and you're actually providing a solution to a problem that we have no limited solutions out there for. So I love that you have this product, and you're sharing your knowledge with those that are still or are starting on their dementia care journey. Sharon, this has been such a valuable conversation. Where can listeners go to learn more about Timeless Presence and the wonderful work you're doing?
We have a website, timelesspresence.net, in the United States, and anywhere else in the world, timelesspresence.com. And we have the products there, but we also share some of the background and some of the things that I've shared today. But I'm active on social media, and also there is a public service announcement due to be released in the United States fairly shortly, which again will give more information about what we're doing. So we were contacted last year.
Yeah.
And so that's happening. Yeah, website, really.
Awesome. I'm excited for you. To my family caregivers out there, I want to remind you, you are the most important part of the caregiving equation. Without you, it all falls apart. So please practice self-care every day. Learn to be gentle with yourself because you are worth it.